art as a way to connect with those living on the streets and help to give them a voice. Volunteers with the San Francisco Night Ministry have launched an effort they call Art from the Heart of the Street. Joining us now to talk more about how this program works is Sam Ledoux with the San Francisco Night Ministry. Sam, wonderful to have you on. Appreciate the time. So you and your organization, you're inviting people who are experiencing homelessness in San Francisco to come out and express themselves through art. You provide the materials. Tell us what the goal of the program is.
Of course. So we've been doing some form of spiritual accompaniment or care for a little over 50 years. And this particular iteration is really about inviting people who are often unseen and unheard, who are our neighbors in the streets, to come forward and do something or build something that often makes their voices a little more visible and a little more noticeable. So, for example, this past week on Thursday, we had our regular open cathedral event, and then we opened up some tables. And as you can see here, we had some art, and we invited for people to just come on out, sit down, draw us, tell us, write, picture, whatever they wanted to do. And we had some beautiful stuff come out of that. And the nice thing about doing things like this is that it gives you a chance to express things that are oftentimes really buried in you. And it also gives you an opportunity to do a little bit of self-healing.
And obviously, you try to build that long-term connection with some of the folks who come out and take part, I imagine. Did you see or notice some common themes in a lot of the work that people were putting together? Or did you talk to folks about what message they were maybe hoping to get across with their art?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one of the things that comes up a lot in these spaces, I think sometimes when we're not on the street with people, we assume that there will be a lot of complaints or a lot of sadness. And I think one of the things that really transforms hearts when you do this work is you realize you have these people who have found joy within their spaces and are there to share about their life and about their joy and also their stressors. So where you might expect to hear some really sad stuff, you also hear some really beautiful stuff. And we had a lot of people sit right down and immediately start drawing and talking about their lived experience. We had one gentleman who did a series of 4 different prayer flags, and each one was a different aspect of his lived life and lived experiences, everywhere from finding your own personal power through your own hands into just the experience of being in a very noisy world and a very noisy city and how he goes about finding his own personal peace.
Do you have a sense of what ultimately will happen with all of the artwork that people made here? And is there any plan to put it on display somewhere?
So this was actually really fascinating. We invited for everybody to go ahead and take their artwork home, to go ahead and give it to friends or family or whoever they might wish to give it to. It turns out we have a lot of generous people in this city, and many of them gave us their artwork and asked us to do something with it. So we're going to do a variety of things with them. Some of them we're going to put on display at our regular events. Some of them we're going to put up here in the offices. Some of it we will also find other homes for along the way as we get opportunities to share more and more about what we do and how we do it and try to make it accessible to even more people in our city.
It's a wonderful way to connect with people who are living on the streets and help to give them a voice. Really appreciate you taking the time. Sam Ledoux with the San Francisco Night Ministry. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you, Alex.
Absolutely. Take care.